The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Y'all ready for this?
Booyah! We are back. It is Wednesday, October 31st. Boo, spooky Halloween. 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and time for another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. My name is Bill Miller, co-host along with
Jeff Belknap.
And it's good to be back in the saddle again.
Yes, sir.
After another week off. Great to be back. A lot has taken place. We've got a busy show. In fact, we've got head coach of the Allen Park High School team.
Yep.
Your alma mater.
That's right.
Who's going to be joining us in the next couple of minutes. But as always, I'd like to welcome our guests to the show. By now, obviously, you've probably heard the disclaimer that's played before them. But then again, it's our opinion. And frankly, as far as Jeff and I are concerned, it's the one that counts.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Hey, so I missed the memo on the wearing the jackets today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought it wasn't until November that we went into the
Well,
games.
I was thinking about it, and I've recently been a little bit on the chilly side, but I know it doesn't bother you, so I didn't want to necessarily have the AC, cutting off.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah. And actually, as far as the weather concerned here, it's kind of dropped off the last day or so.
Well, it was 80 yesterday, and then it dropped about 10 degrees today.
Today, and then of course in the evening it's usually down in the 50s. But it's that time of year. I mean, for God's sakes. Plus, it is time for, that when the weather starts to really kind of change, that means it's time for high school playoffs.
That's right.
And so, without further ado, we are very happy to be joined by the head coach of Jeffrey's alma mater, Allen Park High School. And this is Coach Donosky, Tom Donosky. Tom, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate you being on because we know that you've got a playoff game coming up.
Yeah, sure.
And
sure do.
So we know that, I'm looking at my watch, and I hope the guys still aren't out practicing because it's about 9 o'clock there, your time, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, have you put them to bed yet?
Let's hope so. Let's hope they're getting some rest. Probably watching some film, I would imagine.
Okay, well, great. But, and of course, with the tie-in and JB here being his alma mater, this all works out very well. So the Allen Park, you guys, I think it was 8-2 on the.
8-2, yep.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And you're going to be playing Trenton High School.
Yep, we are. We're going to be playing Trenton High School Friday night at our place, and it's a rematch from week 1. So.
Okay, so twice a year. This is an opportunity you've had second time you had a chance to see these guys. What was the outcome of week 1?
Week 1, they got us. We played at a neutral site down at Wayne State. It was a great experience for our kids, and we headed down in the goal line there late in the game with a chance to score and couldn't get it done. And we've been preaching to our kids all year, or all week, that you don't get this opportunity a lot in a high school football season where you get another chance at a team that beats you. And so we're fortunate to have that opportunity this Friday night, and we'll see what we can do.
All right. Well, you're right. The way high school sports usually is, with football that is, you don't have that opportunity usually to play a team twice. This is it's coming down near the end of the season, and is this the first week of the playoffs in Michigan?
Round 2.
Round 2.
Round 2. This is district championship here.
Okay. So who was your first playoff game against?
Riverview.
Riverview
Pirates. Yep.
All right, and obviously you won. So I don't think
correct.
I'm not giving away anything to anybody.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good, hard-fought game, and we were able to pull it out and move on to this week. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I was checking out the stats from last week, and I guess Gibraltar, which was the team that won did they win the division? Is that how?
Yeah. Them and Woodhaven tied with 1 loss.
Right. And then they lost last week. I noticed the box score said that they scored 21 in the fourth quarter, but still kind of fell short.
Yeah. Trenton got up to an early lead on them, and they battled back, and Trenton was able to hold them off there at the end and stop the 2-point conversion there late in the game.
Oh, wow. For the tie.
Wow.
That's nice.
For the win.
That would have been for the win.
Actually.
Oh, nice.
It
They
would,
went for
yeah,
it.
Yeah,
for the win.
22-21.
And they went for the win. Now that's gutsy.
That's like some Mariota stuff.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, that's that says a lot. So going into the game, we know Jeff played high school. I played high school ball as well, and I know for your seniors, unfortunately, never got to a playoff game, so I can't say I know what these guys are going through. But as for the seniors, you keep waiting for one more week, just one more week, just one more week. How many seniors do you have on this team?
We've got about 14 or 15 seniors.
Okay.
We just, that's, you hit it right on the head there. We just keep preaching to these guys, like, you want to extend. Football is a great game, and one of the things that makes it great is you don't get to play it your whole life. There's no pickup football games when you get 25, 30 years old, like there's other sports, where you get to suit up in full pads and play this game. And so you're really preaching to those seniors, like, listen, when you get knocked out of the playoffs, one of those teams is going to take off their jersey or their helmet for the last time. And, it's kind of motivated our kids, and they've been focused at practice and giving it their all.
Nice. That's beautiful. I mean, so coming down, I'm looking at the bracket for the for Division III, and there's some really solid squads that are in this bracket. So you guys are going up against Trenton. Obviously, it's a one game at a time situation, but as coaches, are you guys looking past these guys a little bit and kind of just paying attention what happens in these other teams?
Yeah, not so much. We're focused on what we're trying to get accomplished. The only thing that we really look at is if we win, and are we going to be able to host again? And as you know, Mark England Field's a very special place for our guys, and as it always has been. And even though it may not be the best field conditions, it's always a very special place to play. And we want to be at home, and so the only thing that we know going forward is if we win Friday night, those seniors get another home game. So,
well, I can tell you this, that I've spent a lot of time on that field, obviously. And when I went there earlier this year, which I want to thank you on the air for allowing me to come down on the field. I got some great video that we'll actually have on the show right now. But
you're always welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But, honestly, the field was in a better condition than I remember it. I was like, wow, this isn't really as bad as I remember.
Yeah, well, you should see it now.
Oh, it's pretty beat up.
It's taken a beating. As you know, the Little League team plays there on Saturdays a lot of weeks, and we've had a lot of rain here on Saturdays this year for some reason or another. So it's holding up, but it's not prime condition, that's for sure.
Well, it's time to get after that alumni to get you a turf field.
Yeah, there you go.
Get all those boosters, man. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, my high school class is 75. There were no turf fields in California. I mean, they would have just laughed at you. And but by the time you got down near the end of the season, you clearly saw where a lot of teams spent a lot of time, and we were kind of usually on our heels.
Yeah.
So you could kind of look at the field itself and, okay, that's where the Sentinels were. Okay. But yeah, but here, in Las Vegas, there are a number of turf fields.
Yeah.
And it really, because of being in a desert environment and water being, kind of scarce. Although the golf courses here don't seem to be, thirsty in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, so but I do know that the further east you go, the more you see the turf fields. But yeah, I get time to get on that alumni. That's for sure. So Tom, how long have you been head coach at Allen Park?
This is my third season. So. third season
Third
as head coach. Took over for longtime Hall of Fame coach Tom Hoover,
Yep.
who was head coach, who was there for 20 years. So coached for 20 years. In fact, his first year as head coach was my senior season. So.
Oh, wow. My goodness.
Well, that was a head coach, and he actually coached before that because he was actually one of my coaches.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was back in 88, 89. So
Correct.
he's been around there for a long time.
Wow.
Sure has.
And I did see him there at the game.
Oh yeah, he's still in the building. He's still teaching in the building, and is our biggest supporter and biggest fan, as you can imagine.
Absolutely. So I heard something that I didn't know. So your strength and conditioning coach is Corey Schlesinger?
No. Actually, he doesn't do any of our strength and conditioning. He does work with some athletes in the school district, but or in this school, but football program is kind of off on its own. So we do kind of our own thing.
Okay, I got some bad information, I guess, on that because I was actually surprised when I heard that because I was like, wow, you got an ex-Lion working with your players.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's in there a lot, and he's always willing to help out. But we have our own program for lifting year-round, and we've kind of done our own thing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So being in Allen Park, and obviously that's where the practice field and everything is for the Lions. I mean, I noticed that they did come out to your facility and, talk to the players and everything. How did that work out?
Oh, it was excellent. They took good care of us. They actually donated a scoreboard, brand new scoreboard this year. Our previous scoreboard was kind of obsolete. They couldn't even get parts for it. The light bulbs couldn't even get purchased. So the Lions came through, and thankful to a mom in our program who really set that up and really was the one that promoted that with the Lions and did all the work behind the scenes. And they donated a brand new scoreboard and came out to practice one day and invited the kids to Monday night game early in the year.
How cool is that?
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
It was very cool.
Yeah, I mean, we have locally here the specter, of course, of the Raiders coming to, which is, arguably a small town feel. I mean, people think of Las Vegas, they think of lights, glitz, a strip, and that it's a big town. It really isn't. So now we have this opportunity with an NFL team coming to town, their games here, but also practicing and living here as well. So, we're hoping that some of that trickles down to the public schools, here in Las Vegas. I mean, despite the size of the city, there are 32 high schools here in Clark County and in Las Vegas. Yeah, I mean, people. Bizarre as this sound, Coach, I mean, you can, on Friday nights, you look on the horizon and you just see these beacons of lights around town. Some of them are on within maybe blocks of each other.
Yeah.
That's how fast high schools have had to pop up as, these, gated, or these communities, not just gated, but begin to, you're on the horizon, expand. Yep. So, with housing expansion, and so now we have actually 32 schools here in Las Vegas.
Wow.
Nice.
That makes for a nice Friday night lights.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Absolutely. And
so you guys are hosting a game this weekend. Obviously, we're just a couple of days away. I mean, do you guys have the capability to be able to stream these games? I mean, I'd love to be able to watch one of these games. You guys have that yet, or?
We don't, unfortunately. That would be something that would be pretty cool down the road for sure. I'm sure a lot of our kids have family that don't live in town or in state and can't get to the games, and that would be something to look forward to maybe down the road. But at this moment, we don't.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, the Nevada actually keeps it under wraps, which is really a challenging thing because Bill and I have worked with the school district and several schools here trying to expand some of the high school stuff, and just really hasn't happened. Is it because of the capabilities of the school, or is it because of the state kind of keeps it under wraps?
I don't know, to be truthfully honest. I've never been approached about it. I've never been asked about it. I haven't heard of the state interfering with that at all. I just think that, a lot of times when you're trying to do stuff like that, it's more manpower too, So
yeah, of course.
One of those things.
Yeah, we know how that goes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We know how that goes. So what are you looking at? I mean, what's your keys to the game to beating Trenton?
Well, they've got an explosive offense. They got a quarterback over there that throws the ball very well, and they're very well coached. So, we got to stop the big play. I mean, we played them the first time around, and we had them in third and long multiple times, and they were able to complete a ball and get a first down. And so we got to stop the big play defensively, and offensively we've got to make our times count. We got it inside the 5 twice, including the last drive, and came away with no points. And when you get down in these games and two teams that are pretty evenly matched, you got to punch in those opportunities.
Absolutely. That's a tough one, and I noticed you guys run the power sweep very well. You guys got some good pulling guard. I've seen you guys pull some guards, and it's like a freight train coming with these guys coming around the corner. So, I mean, are you guys going to be leaning on your running attack for this particular game, or do you plan on mixing it up?
Yeah, we try to keep it balanced. When you're able to run the ball, that solves a lot of problems. You keep the ball out of their hands, number one, and you kind of wear down the opponent. So, we always want to be able to run the football, and for the most part, we've been able to do that pretty successfully this year. But we're not afraid to throw it, and we've got a kid back there, Mateo Balderas, is only a junior, and he's stepped in and has done a nice job with the offense.
So who else do you have that are kind of standouts, guys that we should be looking out for?
Well, the two main running backs are Nico Tiberia, and he's a junior, and Jacob Marcy, a senior, who will kind of play all over the field. We'll put him in the backfield. We'll split him out wide, put him in the slot. We can do a lot of different things with him. But we're, ultimately the offense is going to go through those two guys. They're different type of backs. They both bring a lot to the team. And then tight end Blake Gillum does a real nice job in the run game and the pass game.
Oh, nice. What about your defense? What are those? You got any stars on the defensive side?
Yeah, a lot of the same guys. Nico Tiberio will be there at linebacker, and Blake Gillum will be at defensive end, and Jacob Marcy will be in the secondary. And it's what's nice that we got other guys that contribute all over the football field. Nick Rinaldi and Cole Premtai, and just what's nice about this team, and it seems to be this way a lot with Allen Park teams, and you could probably attest to this, is we've not been blessed with a lot of Division I, Division II talent in years, but the team concept is strong, and we got a lot of guys that are chipping in all over the field and just making each other better every day.
No, that's great, man. Well, a lot of it has to do with coaching too. So you guys are putting them in a position to do well, which is the main thing. And
here.
Like, a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people think that, like, if they got these talented players that they can win. But really, what it comes down to is, them buying into the scheme,
right,
and actually playing according to what the coach is putting on the field. I mean, we have a big problem with that at UNLV, where there's a good scheme in place. These guys don't want to do it, and they just lost to an 0-7 team. So, what can you say about that?
Yeah. Our coaching staff does an amazing job. We're fortunate to have a lot of guys on the staff and put in a lot of hours getting these kids prepared every week. And for the most part, our kids are buying in and getting better. And that's all you can ask for, is every day get out there and get better and continue to put up a fight every Friday night and see what happens.
Well, the proof is in the record, Coach, and so don't be ashamed of taking some credit for it, you and your staff.
The staff can have all the credit. The staff and the kids, they do a wonderful job. So
that's good stuff. So, you're a college football fan as well?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, so is it blue or green?
Oh, it's blue all the way.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I knew I liked you for more than one reason there.
I don't know if anybody's ever said green.
my green ends with the Jags.
There you go. There you go. I thought you were going to say your front lawn, but yeah. No, I've always was always proud to wear the green and white Allen Park Jags. You know what's really funny is when Ed Bellis was my coach, and when he always told me, "Hey Jeff, you're too small to play. You're too small to play." And now I'm 6'2" and 240 pounds. And it's funny because I still have my varsity jacket, and when I put it on, my sleeves literally go up to where it's like literally short sleeve. And so the amount of I've obviously grown a lot after 18 years old, but I still get a kick out of it. Like when my son, he's now 18, and I say, hey, well, try this on. He's bigger than me at 18. So he's like, wow, you were this big at 18? I'm like, yeah, isn't that crazy? But I'm glad to know that you are a Michigan fan. So what do you think about the game coming up this weekend?
I think it's going to be a big one, obviously. They kind of got things rolling here now, and kind of scares me a little bit. But if they keep playing defensively like they are, I like our chances against Penn State.
Yeah. I saw the spread today at 10.5. I thought that it was a little high, but I also thought the Michigan State spread was a little big, which they ended up covering that game pretty easily. So,
correct. Yeah.
I'm trying not to look
forward.
forward.
It was nice to see. I'm getting tired of hearing it from them Spartans around here.
Yeah, no doubt. It was our time to finally win that. They had beaten us 8 out of the last 10 times. It was kind of tough to watch after a little while.
It sure was.
But I'm trying not to look forward to the game on the 24th. And we had Jabari on last week.
Yeah.
And Jabari picked Ohio State, which pissed me off a little bit. But that's all right. He's still my friend. So, what about the Lions, man? What do you think about the Lions?
Well, they're sometimes they show glimpses of hope and getting better, and other times they just unfortunately they feel like the same old Lions. Just when you think they're getting it going the last couple of weeks, this past weekend was not very pretty.
Yeah. Especially at home. I mean, you would have think that it would have played better at home.
Yeah, I really expected more against Seattle. I didn't.
Yeah.
They made Seattle look like They made Seattle look like the Seattle team from about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sure did. I mean, on all aspects of the game too.
Well, we'll see what happens this week because they play Minnesota this week, which it kind of seems like Detroit wins the games that they shouldn't. And then they lose the games that they should win. Yeah. So we'll see if they play that out. They play the Rams later on in a couple more weeks, and we'll see how that goes. But they have a couple of big games coming up against Chicago. They play them twice in a 2-week period. So that should be, or a 3-week period. So that should be pretty telling about what's going to happen with them for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's always a good game to watch too.
Well, the first one should be interesting. The one on Thanksgiving, it better be good. That's all I have to say.
Well,
I get tired of watching.
Lord knows
lose.
the networks hope it's close.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no other game to flip to at that point.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, Coach, so we do this with all of our people that we have on. So we would like for your opinion, and now you have a little bit more information than most people have had because, we're obviously deeper in the season, but we'd like for your NFC champion, your AFC champion, and then who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, man. Boy, it's hard to go against Kansas City right now, but
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna go with the Patriots.
Okay.
I gotta go with Brady and Belichick, and boy, the NFC just seems to be such a toss-up. Man, I can't even. I fully get going. I don't know. I probably got to say L.A. Probably.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
The Rams.
Yeah. All
Then
right.
and who do you got winning that one?
Well, call me a Michigan guy, but I'm gonna go with Brady.
There you go. There you go.
At least that's what I'm hoping for.
There you go.
Gee, didn't see that one coming.
Well,
Yeah.
Coach, was it 7 or 8 weeks ago? I actually picked those exact same teams, but I actually picked the Rams to actually win.
Okay.
So, but I did say this was my note that if Brady was retiring, that he would definitely win that game. So if there's any hint that he might retire, then definitely Patriots are going to win because they'll let him go out on the high horse like they did with Ray Lewis and Peyton Manning and the other guys.
Elway. And,
Elway,
if he gets to that game, I don't know how you can bet against him. That's for sure.
No, I learned my lesson last year, or I guess it was 2 years ago. I was telling everybody to take Atlanta. I said they're 8-1. You got to take them. This is easy money. You got to take them. They're definitely going to represent. They go all the way, and literally when they went up, like late in the game in the third quarter, I was literally on my phone scheduling a trip to New York with the money that I was going to win, right? And my wife's like, just wait until after the game. And I'm glad she told me that because I would have spent a whole bunch of money that I didn't have.
Oh, it just all went away so fast.
Oh, so bad.
It was mind-boggling.
But I get tempted every year. I always put money on the Lions at the beginning of the year. I always put at least $50 on them, sometimes $100, just because I don't want to be stuck the year that they actually do win to not have that money on there. So.
Well, you're better than I am. So.
Well, I learned it for that last year. I put a little bit of money on the Golden Knights in the beginning of the season, and I kind of the fact that they went all the way to Stanley Cup was amazing. I ended up hedging off of it and winning my money back and everything. But it would have been really nice to see the Knights win.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, that had to be incredible there when they were on that run.
The atmosphere here was
just nuts.
unbelievable. And considering what the weather was like, you still had people, out tailgating.
Yep.
Out by the stadium, and it was already close to 100 degrees.
Well, just imagine this: 18,000 people packing the arena, have no idea what icing is.
That's harsh.
Oh man.
No, it's bad. It's bad. But there is a lot of transplants here. I actually went to the game when Detroit played the Golden Knights, and it was literally 90% Red Wings fans. I mean, when you walked in there, the complete arena was full of Red Wings fans, including myself, of course. And the Red Wings did win that game.
They won that game.
Yeah,
that was like their first loss.
Yeah, knocked Fleury out with the concussion. But that was probably the highlight of the Red Wings season. I mean, they've been looking pretty bad. But Coach,
they're on the rebound. They'll get it back, but it's going to take some time.
Oh, I believe that. The Pistons are doing all right though, so that's good. So, hey, Coach, best of luck to you this weekend. I hope the bounces go your way. Obviously, it's a game where like just one play could actually make a difference, and we're on your side. Just know that we're here rooting for you. And again, I want to really thank you for allowing me to come on. I had a great time when I was in Michigan, and I definitely will be back there, sometime next month. So, hopefully you guys will still be playing some games.
That would be excellent. Like I said, you're always welcome, and I appreciate you having me on. And we'll see if we can't extend the season at least one more week here.
All right, go Jags.
Thank you so much, Coach. Really appreciate it.
All right.
Good luck.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Head coach Tom Donosky, Allen Park High School Jaguars. My co-host alma mater here.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and they're heading into round 2 of the Michigan State High School Athletic Association playoffs against Trenton High School this Friday.
This Friday, yeah.
And and again, as he touched bases as a senior, you just hope for one more game.
You know what? I'm looking at if they can pull this game out with Trenton, and Trenton's always a tough squad. If they can pull this out, they might be able to get a couple more rounds. And this is a team that has a little bit of experience in the playoffs. When I first started, we were literally my junior year was the first year that we ever qualified for the playoffs, which was great. So it's kind of they've went up and down. They've won a state championship, and it's just great to see like a squad that just goes out there and just balls out. And the one thing that I did notice is, these coaches, some of the coaches, they told me when I was on the sideline that these guys aren't big enough. That was their word. They're not big enough to play in D1, D2. And I walked out there, I was like, these are the same size guys that play in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They are not bigger in a sense. I think that the spectrum is different. And Vegas is definitely on the market. And I think it's time for me to work with some of these coaches and see if I can get them, some of the assistance that they need.
Yeah. I'd like to see the guys that they're comparing them to. But I think sometimes it's just relevant.
Yeah.
And it's a much bigger pool in Michigan than it is in Nevada because you literally have basically 2 regions.
Well, it's 4 million people instead of 2 million people. So
Yeah, and so you just there's a larger pool, obviously. But the reaction we usually get from people outside the state when you say 32 high schools in Las Vegas, and it's like, wow, really? Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is, though, I mean, even with those facts, which are all true, there's a lot more programs.
Yeah.
It's basically UNLV. I mean, that is literally the only program in Las Vegas. So a lot of these kids have to go out. But you have Wayne State, you have Michigan State, you have Michigan, you have their all the community colleges that are in the area. There's a bunch of different stuff, and even a shout out to Rivals Professional Football League. These guys are taking Hines, ex running back from the Patriots, taking guys right out of high school and putting them into paid positions in his league, the Rivals.
Yeah, and hats off to him, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's take a break, and then we come back. We're going to switch gears and talk about, unfortunately, the playoffs, baseball playoffs recently, World Series ended. But we're also going to touch bases on a number of things, including unfortunate debacle with UNLV at San Jose over the weekend. Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. We'll be right back.
The golf store you've been waiting for is now open. Bob Allen Golf is ready to help you take your game to the next level. Bob Allen Golf is located at 6415 South Fort Apache, Las Vegas 89148. Choose your favorite clubs from our selection of Bridgestone, Callaway, Cleveland, XXIO, Srixon, Ping, Wilson, and more. We'll custom fit them in our state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulator. Come hang out with us and practice on our putting green to find out which club is perfect for you. Have your clubs repaired, reshafted, and regripped in our on-site tour shop. And talk about accessories. Guys and gals will feel comfortable and look sharp in the many sizes, colors, and options of apparel from Greg Norman, Black Clover, Under Armour, and more. The team at Bob Allen Golf takes your game as seriously as you do. Join our online family at boballen.golf.com and stop in the store to meet us. Remember, at Bob Allen Golf, your game is in the bag.
We are back. Round 2, Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. My name is Bill Miller, co-host along with
Jeff Belknap.
And we are switching gears here where we're kind of recap a very, very hectic week in sports.
Yep.
Some troubling news coming out of the state of Maryland, which we'll touch basis on. But first, let's recap the World Series. And I think by now, I think we all know that the Red Sox end up winning the World Series 4-1. But that one game I will always relish, that 18-inning, just absolute mind-boggling doubleheader. Should have counted for 2 wins in my book. So it really should have been 4-2. But, what are you going to say? Hats off to my Dodgers. I'm a Dodger blue fan from always win, lose, or draw. I never saw them actually making the World Series this year, especially around the middle of the season. But they somehow scrambled. Dave Roberts, again, I think he did an excellent job, although he seems to get clubbed over the head. But also congratulations to the what is their name again? The Red Sox. Listen, arguably they were the best team in baseball this year. From snout to tail, let's face it, $300-400 million, get you these things.
Yep.
It seems to be mind-boggling, but the arms race in the American League East seems to be only getting started because the rumors are that the dollars that the Yankees are getting ready to put out there may possibly be in a $400 to $500 million range.
Oh wow.
Starting with our local boy who made good in Washington.
Well, he's already said that he wants to play for the Yankees. So
I think that it's literally a done deal because of I think it's like 5 days or something like that after the season is officially over that they can finally start talking about these things. But I think you'd have to be
well, he's not staying in Washington. We know that.
No,
that's a given.
He's honestly, he gave it a ride, and they just. I swear to God, I think the Washington Nationals are cursed. The injuries as soon as they got to the playoffs, or near the end of the season, the injuries would start piling up.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't get over the hump. And it's not like they were losing to bad teams, but they just couldn't get over the hump. So,
Well, I mean, they stopped scoring runs. Their pitcher, I mean, still arguably the two top pitchers in the league, pitch for the Nationals. So it's like, what can you blame it on? I mean, you got to kind of point a finger at something. So what is it?
Yeah, well, it usually ends up being the manager.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I'm not feeling sorry for anybody. So I can kind of see next year that probably between both the Yankees and the Red Sox, 200 wins, possibly. I mean, it could get really ridiculous.
Yeah.
With just a lot of bottom feeders as far as the American League East is concerned. But again, congratulations, and it's tough to watch teams celebrate at Chavez Ravine.
Yeah.
2 years in a row. And
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, I think was it a Red Sox fan that got stabbed 5 times or something?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. I mean, my God, it's a sport, folks. Let's not take it that seriously.
I mean, really. I mean,
I'm passionate about the Dodgers, but come on. I mean, people have got to start acting civilized. I mean, that's troubling. I didn't know that, and. Yeah. So baseball is, unfortunately now I've got to wait till, late February for pitchers and catchers to report.
Yep.
And in the meantime, it's, college football obviously now heating up.
Yep.
And on the local side, a very disappointing game this past weekend with UNLV.
I think you're being nice.
This is, at the beginning of the year, we were talking about this team, being a breakout for Sanchez and this team, just in terms of making his identity a statement, and that we were kind of circling the absolute positive wins.
Yep.
This was one of them, and San Jose was 0-7.
Yep.
Yeah, and had very, they were clearly looking at a winless season.
Well, I mean, they played actually a couple of close games. I know they earlier on they went to Hawaii and played a several overtime game. I think it was like a 4 or 5 overtime game in Hawaii, which is a tough place to play.
Oh yeah.
Then last week or the week before last, and they played a really tough game against San Diego State. So I mean, that was like when I saw that game, I was like, wow, they actually might beat the Rebels. But then when you actually saw that they put up 50.
Yes. It wasn't one of those kind of clawing games where, like 17-13 or fluke play,
They just dominated them from the kickoff.
It was, that's I think the really thing that stood out the most.
Yeah.
Was that, you look back at this season that you let San Jose put up those many points.
Well, just imagine what Fresno is going to put up.
That's the scary part. Well, this is where I see how things can take that turn, because Fresno was one of those teams that we thought they wouldn't win.
We definitely knew that they were going to lose to Fresno.
So this is an opportunity for Sanchez to make a statement for this season. I don't think they're going to make a bowl game.
Well, they can't.
They're 2-6, right?
Yeah, I think even if they went out, they won't have enough wins.
Which
basically means beating
Fresno is your bowl game.
And San Diego State, and then beating Reno. Actually, at this point, I think Reno is the game that they should be trying to win. Yeah. I mean, that's just my opinion. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they should be trying to win them all.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is like I haven't seen a team play so bad defensively where there's no cohesion in the team at all. It's like slicing off 8-yard run and then a 15-yard pass and then a 20-yard run and then a 35-yard touchdown. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, it's not like you stop them a couple of plays, to kind of hold it close. You were literally getting sliced up every single play.
And again, it's the score that stood out the most. If this were Wisconsin, or someone along those lines, then people would be saying, well, okay, yeah, you can kind of see it. But no, this is San Jose State.
Yep.
And this is.
Well, if you really if we could just touch, they are 2-6, but think about who they beat. Okay, so they beat Prairie View,
Prairie View,
which is a D2 school.
Yeah.
and they beat UTEP,
Yeah.
which is another team that hasn't won yet.
Yeah.
And you lost 6 games from there. So it's not like you can like toot your horn about anything big. I mean, it's like, yes, you lost your quarterback, which to me was kind of like a one-sided quarterback anyway. I mean, he had over 500 yards rushing. Yeah, I get it.
A lot of rushing yards.
It's good.
Yeah.
But to
he
me,
didn't
it's
play
like
defense.
he does not play defense, which was the point I was about to bring up. If you lose your quarterback, your defense should be able to like keep you in games.
Yeah.
The offense can't score. The defense can't keep people from scoring. You know, and I think
But they can get the other team's offense off the field and
think
give you an opportunity.
You would think.
Yes.
You would think. But the thing is, at this point, what would be the purpose for keeping Sanchez?
Okay. Well, which was my next question. Are we already looking beyond them? And here's my thing. Who takes this job?
Well, I can tell you this, that with all of the things that are coming to Las Vegas, I think it's going to be a lot easier to get a big name coach.
Yeah.
When you're talking about, 2 years from now, them playing in a $2 billion stadium and having a brand new practice facility and a brand new practice field and all the other stuff that honestly, this thing that's sad is Sanchez set this stuff up, with his relationship with the Fertittas and everything that, the Fertittas selling the UFC obviously freed up a little bit of cash where they could do a little bit more for the schools.
No.
And they really needed a tax break, I'm sure. The capital gains was probably going to kill them. So I understand why that they did what they did. But Sanchez, they did a lot of that because of Sanchez.
Yes.
Obviously the Fertittas boys, went to Gorman.
Right.
Now play at the 4th ranked. I hope they lose this weekend.
Notre
Dame team. Which don't be surprised if Northwestern comes in and beats that team. But I don't want to honestly, they're ranked 122 in D1. I can't see how you can keep from mixing this team up. I just really can't see it.
Well, if you're looking at that, and of course we've all been looking ahead to the new stadium, and that being a tool for UNLV to recruit. And, and it certainly is. But I think that if UNLV waits another year, you then bring in a coach who essentially is not going to have an opportunity to recruit.
Yeah.
But basically to accept the recruits that he has, as with any other college or high school hire.
Has to do, right.
It has to do. But I think that, we last year we kind of looked back on some things and said, okay, well, this is the year, and again, when I didn't see the game, and I just kind of always, I always look to see what the scores are, and I had this one as sort of circled, this is a win. I saw the score and I thought it was a typo. They had reversed it, and I went on another site, and I was like, holy shit, this is it. But again, I just like to see these guys, and I think that they can absolutely. This would be their bellwether for the season by beating Fresno State.
Never happened.
Yeah. Well, a week before, would you have said San Jose State manhandling UNLV?
Actually, that's exactly what Jabari said. I actually said that they needed to win. Jabari actually said that they were going to lose.
Did he really?
He did.
Oh God.
Okay, so a couple games coming up this weekend. I'm gonna give you guys a couple of plays that I really like.
Dun, dun, dun.
I really like Utah State. I took them last week against New Mexico. They absolutely demolished them. I took them in the first half. I took them in the whole game. I like them in the first half again. Go ahead and lay the chalk on that one. Fresno State. The other one is I really like the way that Utah is playing right now. Offensively, they're just really been ramping.
They're
up.
the best team in the Pac-12.
Amazingly.
Yes,
and
they
they've
are
only
the best
lost
team
2
in the
games,
Pac-12.
and both games are really close games. They play an Arizona team. Now let me give you the scenario here. They were a 10-point favorite at home last year against Arizona State and lost the game by 20. So that's a 30-point line swing. So I think that's going to be fresh on the mind, and especially some of these seniors that are playing. So don't be surprised if Utah comes out and just has a little slap down on that game. One of the games that I'm really looking forward to, and this is not for the betting purposes, but I really love this LSU in Alabama game, because when I first saw the playoff picture come out where they put the first four teams up, it was Alabama's second team, Alabama's practice squad, and then Clemson. You know, I mean, it infuriates me every year that they, in the beginning of the season, already have a position where I actually heard one of the commentators talking about this game and literally said, even if Alabama loses, they're more than likely going to play in the playoffs.
Yes, you know, it's almost like it's a given.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, well, let's not bother going through this whole nonsense of these rankings and just give it to.
Here's the thing that always frustrates me about Alabama is they don't play anybody.
Nope.
They don't play a schedule where they can get beat week to week. They play maybe 1-2 team all year long that can beat them. So, I mean, it's without a doubt that they're going to be number one like every game. And this is the main reason why. I'm telling you guys right now, Clemson wins it all. I'm calling it right now. Put your money on it right now.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
That's
Clemson's your team.
Bold move.
They got 5 guys on the D line. They'll probably all play on Sundays.
Don't think for a minute I won't be rooting for him because I will be. You know, and anybody else playing Alabama or USC. Speaking of USC or UCLA, UCLA was going from the frying pan into the fire as they go up to Oregon after getting manhandled by Utah. And I don't think this one is going to be pretty.
Well, Oregon's coming off a devastating loss in Arizona.
And that's the reason why they're going to take it out on the Bruins and just do a number on them.
Well, they were between 7.5 and 8-point favorites in that game. Arizona completely dominated that game. It never even got close. I think they were up 22-0. It was like 22-8 in the final. They won 30-something to 15 or something. And the game really wasn't even a close game. I watched a portion of it, and Oregon was just seemed like maybe I don't even know what they were even playing for.
Sleepwalking.
I don't know. Maybe like
looking ahead.
Maybe it was those
beating UCLA's brains out.
What's that taco place down in Tucson, or that they have a hot dog place where it's bacon wrapped
hot dogs.
Hot dogs, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they all went there and it just was a bad batch or something like that. Actually, it was one of my favorite places to go in Tucson. Rich Lopez, which is my buddy, he's the chaplain for Arizona. He's the guy that always takes me down there and we go grab some dogs. So.
Yeah. And did you have any other? Well, of course. Let's see. You mentioned, of course, the Northwestern game.
You know what? I don't think that Northwestern can win, but I can tell you this: Northwestern did beat Michigan State. They played some really good games. They played a really good game against Michigan. They beat Purdue earlier in the season. I think that they have the tools to keep this game close.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about it briefly. You know, they have a chance to make a bowl. They should be bowl eligible.
Yeah, with one more win. Which they'll get against the last week they play Illinois. So
my upset special. Okay.
Here it comes.
And I'm sending this one out to Jorge. Nebraska is somehow going to beat Ohio State this week.
Oh, I love that. That would be the greatest in history.
I think that they got that win. I think that this is it's not a bad team. It's just that they've kind of been, they have played down to a lot of levels.
Yeah.
I think getting that win, kind of getting it out of their system, there's no reason to now the specter of when is it going to happen, when is it going to happen, when is it going to happen. I think they're going to go into Columbus, and I think they're going to eke out a win over Ohio State. And because the last time I talked to old George, he was already thinking about, them already possibly looking ahead to a new coach at Ohio State. And this was right on the heels of the loss against.
Well, I would prefer them to wait till the 25th after they lose to Michigan. Because I'll tell you what, I'm really, people that, know me personally, they know that, like, I've been doing a little bit of a business in Michigan. I'm trying to get my trip pushed back so I can be in Detroit on the 24th and maybe kind of sneak in there somehow.
Get in there. You should. Come on, man. First of all, you deserve it. You're a fan.
Yeah.
And secondly, I think that you owe it to yourself.
Oh, that would be Just, I mean, especially both teams going in with the one loss. I mean, if Nebraska wins, then that would be great. But, both teams going in with the one loss, I think would be fabulous. So we got just a few more minutes. You want to talk about high school football, or you want to go to pros?
Let's go to the pros.
Okay.
And only because we just the trade deadline came.
Yep.
And some real surprising moves, and one of those are close, near and dear to your heart, Golden Tate.
I like Golden Tate.
Yeah. Who gets dealt to Philadelphia.
Yep. And I'm really upset because on my fantasy, a guy actually offered me Golden Tate for David Johnson, and I felt like I needed him, Johnson, this week to win my game, which I
Right.
did end up needing him. But now I'm looking at like he's going to be a go-to in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because of the need that they really have for a wide receiver. So it's going to be really interesting what happens with them.
I think if you're Philly, you had to pull the trigger.
That's great.
And they really came out ahead on this one.
Mm-hmm.
It might just be enough for them to turn the season around for the second half.
Well, I can tell you this: that what these trades did for me is prove the incompetence of the Cowboys. And I'm just going to tell you why.
And their GM,
a third-round pick for Tate,
Yeah.
a fourth-round pick for Demaryius Thomas,
right?
which are both really solid wide receivers, but you're going to trade Amari Cooper for a first
Round pick. Yeah.
I can tell you right now, I would rather have all day long Golden Tate because his yard after the catch, I mean, you throw this guy a 5-yard pass and he'll get 15.
Oh,
he'll get 20 yards out of that.
His yak yards are incredible, and if you look at it, I mean, he's sort of like, and one analyst kind of said he's like a combination of a running back and wide receiver.
Absolutely.
Because he can take that 5-yard dink and then turn it into something.
Yep.
Listen. Who the hell knows what Oakland is going to do with all of these first-round picks? I'll tell you, the specter of Al Davis looms over that franchise. And so people, and I said it before, there's no way in hell the Raiders are going to win a Super Bowl with John Gruden.
What?
Okay, it's not going to happen.
Wow.
So listen, Raider fans are diehard fans, but they better be trying to figure out where they're going to play next year, because I think the city of Oakland has just about had it.
Oh, yeah.
With
I agree with
the Davis family. And they may just simply tell them, I think that, one guy in Oakland said, we don't want them to go away mad, we just want them to go away. And if I were the city of Oakland and I were the officials there and I were the people there, I would say the same thing. Look at what's happening with the Chargers in L.A. Empty seats and really fans of the teams that they're playing against.
Yeah.
In a place that only holds about 26,000 people. San Diego fans have already said, we're not supporting that team. And L.A. fans, even as good as the Chargers are playing, they're hey, we got the Rams. This is L.A.
Yeah.
This isn't San Diego. I think that Oakland, wherever they end up playing, who knows? Maybe it might even be the Coliseum, in L.A.
Wow.
Or either that or Sam Boyd Stadium, which will be available.
Sam Boyd, could you imagine an NFL game at Sam Boyd?
1,000 degrees.
What a terrible
people
disaster
fainting,
that would be.
falling out. It would just be,
It would be a traffic nightmare. I mean, there'd be no good situation.
Oh, nothing good could come of it.
I mean, the
Absolutely
best
nothing
thing
good could come of
about
it.
the Silver Bowl is that you can get in and out of there very quickly because there's normally only about 17 to 20,000 people there. There's literally more people go. The game that I went to a few weeks back against Air Force, there was literally more people at the last Golden Knights game that I went to.
Wow. And there were a lot of Air Force supporters
Oh, that was nuts.
at that Air Force game.
They throw cheese?
Who?
I never saw that before. They throw slices like of Kraft cheese when they score touchdowns.
Air Force?
Air Force does. So there was probably about maybe less than 20,000 people. They're throwing cheese. The people are kicking them out. And I was thinking, wow, you're kicking out. When you
out.
We got 15,000 people, and you're kicking people
You're kicking
out.
these people out at this
Just
rate?
let them throw cheese, man. That's what I say.
By all means. We are, unfortunately, once again, near the end of the hour. And by the way, John, we never give you your props. Thank you so much. John Stiles, the owner, head engineer, head honcho. But we certainly appreciate
Thanks,
it.
John.
And we hope you join us every single week. Next week will be the first Wednesday in November. 6 p.m. Will it be Pacific Standard Time by now?
Yep.
Pacific Standard Time. Yes, this weekend, fall back.
So
Okay.
it means it'll be dark at 4.
Yes, which is mind-boggling to me. But At any rate, join us. It'll be 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. Have a great week.
God bless.